What's up, everybody? This is Jay, and this is my recap review for episode 6 of P-Valley Legacy. Now, it's only 2 episodes left after this one for P-Valley. It's starting to get to the wire as whether Uncle Clifford's going to be able to save the club. We going to see what's up with Mercedes and Autumn Night and their relationship, and what the hell are they doing? What scam are they up to? And we're gonna see what's up with Lil Murder and Uncle Clifford too. Let's get into it. Now, when we see it kick off, we see that these ladies is rolling in a rusty roadmaster up to no good, and we see that they making one stop after another, getting money, and pretty much they successful at it, using whatever type of IDs they need, different outfits, different hairstyles, sucking on penis-shaped foods. Whatever it is they doing, it's working, and it's working damn good. They got a bag full of Tubman Twankies, and it's filled to the brim, flying out the bag. So I'm wondering, whatever it is they doing, the Rusty Roadmaster is serving the purpose of getting them to where they going, and they as happy as can be. So we see they is people at a tennis court, and then we see that it's Mercedes' daughter, and then they roll up in the Rusty Roadmaster. Mercedes come call her over. Her daughter is struggling, and she like, "Hey, you doing good out there?" She say, "Stop lying." She, "Girl, who you talking to? Don't make me come over there." She say, "I'm still your mama. You can't be my mama even for one weekend." She say, "Yeah, well, some stuff got twisted." She say, "Yeah, I saw you on the news. Yeah, you let me down." And so basically Mercedes hurt, and her daughter is hurt, and then we see the woman that's raising her come over there, and she like, "What you doing over here?" She told the girl to go back to the lesson, and Mercedes say, "Hey, I'm trying to see it." She say, "You don't just bum rush her tennis lessons. We saw you acting a damn fool on the news. This is my daughter." She say, "Well, I'm the one pushed out the coochie." She say, "Well, I'm the one that got control, and if you want to get it right, you need to get it right with me first if you want to see it." So she get in the car. She like, "What you looking at?" And so, you know, Autumn like, "I ain't say nothing." She say, "Yeah, y'all yellow girls always doing the most." She see the gun. She say, "Ooh, this cute. Does it work? Does it kill people like your dead baby daddy ex?" And she say, "No, but it does work though." And so then we see Lil Murder walk up on Miss Mississippi. He like, "Hey, you trying to bribe me? That ain't gonna work." She say, "I don't know what you talking about, but I'm trying to show you this right here. Take a look. Somebody sent me." And so he take a look, and she put him on to her video where she was stripping, and somebody tagged it because his music was in there, and it's on World Star Hip Hop. So he like blown away now. He feel like he about to make it. He getting some pub, and she telling him, "Hey, we can go ahead and make this a little tag team. People love to see a dime piece on your boss shoulder. You know, we can make this work." He like, "Oh, okay, so what's up then? You trying to be like the Gucci man and his piece?" So yeah, so we can make that work. He like, "All right, so what your plans is?" She like, "What's up? What you know about the gram?" And so then he like, "Oh, what's up with this right here?" And so he pointed to her little bruise on her face, which was pretty big, and she said, "Don't worry, black girls don't bruise." So then they get on the gram, start taking pictures, flexing or whatever, and they about to have a faux relationship, and just to get pub, even though it's a white ass baby behind them. Anyway, Uncle Cliffy Pooh is stressing in bed about this eviction coming soon. Then he start getting texts, and is saying that he done deaded it with Mississippi. So he like, "I know you ain't killer." He like, "Nah." And then he talking about his question of going out. So he all cuddled up thinking about, you know, sweet nothings. And then we hear Loretta Devine, my girl, down there jamming. So he come on, and that's his grandmama, and she give her a hug. They start jamming, they dancing for a minute. She start telling a story about how she used to get down, cut a rug. Even old James Brown came through one time, and she had to put it on him. She said he tried to show up, he showed out, and she tried to do the splits, lost her breath. She say, "Pass me my blunt, boy." And before next thing you know it, he grabbed the blunt, but he didn't get a chance give it straight to her. He had to take a little tax on it. And so then she got her blunt, and she getting her mind right. She said, it's supposed to bring your eyes back. It don't, but it make you forget. And then she hears phone blowing up talking about, who is that boy calling you? And he say, what you talking about? And I'm just saying, what's going on? He say, what we need to worry about is what's going on with the bank. We about to lose the bank. And then he start pulling out all these bills and loans, and he say all this stuff from when it was Ernestine's. So obviously the pink was a previous club or something that she had, a juke joint, and they turned it to a shake joint, and they got all kind of debt. Meanwhile, we see that Gidget boyfriend is laid up with some type of drug operation, half-ass drug operation, I might add, because all these girls, including him, walking around bucket naked, half-ass. And next thing you know, it's a knock at the door. He grabbed his pistola. He opened the door. It's Big L. He's saying, hey, man, we need to talk, man. And so next thing you know, he outside, they dressed, they talking, chopping it up. Big L telling him, hey, I want to be able to get in with you. Let me hold something. He like, oh, you trying to get in? He like, what Uncle Clifford gonna say? He say, don't worry about Cliff. I'm about to handle this. This is what Big L gonna do. You heard me? And so they go ahead and dap up. Meanwhile, we see Cliffy Pooh getting his nails done, and he's speaking in Korean with the ladies at the nail shop. They chopping it up back and forth. Next thing you know, Eloise, the mayor's secretary, walk in. He like, oh yeah, I knew you was gonna be coming at 5 o'clock. Come on and sit it down. You come kiki with me. And so she sit down and he talking, and so that's how we find out she used to work at the Pink. And he like, hey, you need to let me know about any tea that's going on. And so she like, I don't know, I ain't heard about this or that about this. He like, yeah, you did, and you need to show some loyalty. You the first bitch I graduated. And so she say, I'm thankful for the Pink. It was a stepping stone. He say, well, you better make sure it ain't a tombstone. Any tea you got, lukewarm or hot, spill it. Meanwhile, we see the girls in there, and they at the restaurant chopping it up. She passed another big fat envelope of money to Mercedes, and Mercedes like, yeah, I'm about to go ahead and get my club. She say, yeah, well, I suggest you stash your money somewhere other than the church fund. What about Bitcoin? She say, Bitcoin, fool. And so then she say, I'm about to get my gym. That's all I know. And then next thing you know, Andre walk in, so it kind of stopped Autumn in her tracks. And so she like, ooh, you ain't talking to him no more? She say, nah, we ain't talked in about a week or so. She say, well, the way he looking, And so she say, yeah, he look like he wants something from you over there. He throwing them daggers. And so she kind of not talking to him. They kind of not say nothing. They ready for the tab. And the waitress say, it's already been paid. Mercedes like, boy, y'all yellow girls, boy, don't even have to say nothing. Meanwhile, we see back over there at the farm with the Kyle family. They all over there chopping it up. He showing them some classic rifle. And so they saying, hey, it's good. This deal about to get through. Hey, I'm glad. Hey, in order to celebrate, why don't you sign first, and we'll make sure everything goes smooth. And so he sit down, Kyle, and he about to get ready to sign it, but then he decided he ain't gonna do it. He say, we should be leasing, we shouldn't be selling. And they mad. They start yelling at him. They start arguing, and they going back and forth. Andre say, hey, look, I ain't a family therapist. If the deal don't go through, we just gonna move elsewhere. Then dude snap. He take the gun, start pointing it at him. He say, hey, look, man, you better sign this. He like, come on, man. I am real family. What you doing? And then next thing you know, he pointed at Andre. And so now he ready to pop somebody over this damn deal and this money. And then next thing you know, then the brother say, hey, look, I'm going to sign the deal. Even though he basically had to sign it under duress at gunpoint, he ended up signing the deal to sell. And then he say, hey, look, ain't no guns in here. Ain't no bullets in here. And so Later, meanwhile, we see back with Uncle Clifford and Granny. Now we see little Marcus is over there, and they all chopping it up, and Cliff just admiring how they getting along. She telling stories and stuff. She done came over to the wall pointing at pictures of old stories. They laughing and stuff. She telling them all this stuff. He say, hey man, they been having music all this time, and hey, it'd be good luck for me, I rap. And so they all laughing and saying, hey, it may just work that way. Then next thing you know, he see a picture of Uncle Clifford when he was young. He say, boy, you was a snagger-tooth queen, and busting up laughing. Clifford like, boy, you better stop. They like, Cliff came out the womb switching. And then he getting some text from DJ Never Scared, but he tell him he gonna come through later, and he let her smell a bag of that good. She like, oh yeah, you can come back and visit anytime, okay? He's all right with me, baby. Meanwhile, we see back at the Pink that Miss Mississippi is just blowing up on the gram, and she just feeling like a star right now. And she like, oh my God, my dreams is coming true. And so everybody else is like, girl, are you crazy? What are you doing? And so everybody else is scared and worried for her, but she not. Even though she just got a big swole face and bruises all over, she not taking it as serious as everybody else is. And they like, what he gonna say? And she like, man, I ain't worried about that. Then she see Autumn inside a Mercedes locker, so she go on over there. She like, I wonder what Mercedes would say you in her locker. She say, yeah, I wonder the same thing she say about you taking her spot. Difference is, I ain't worried about that. Plus, I share what I got, and she should point to her face, and then she show her that gun in there, old Pinky, and next thing you know, it got her thinking about old Pankin. And so she closed the locker and give her the code to the locker in case she ever need to go ahead and grab something. Meanwhile, we see she go on stage. She going to do her performance. She doing a great job, beautiful dancing, everything, and she got with a bag. I mean, she's starting to get glad bags, okay? And so she telling Cliff about her little plans and about how it's gonna be murder night coming, and her and Lil Murder got it planned out and this and that. Since Mercedes ain't got no headline, they like, Keyshawn, you better wait. I know you ain't trying to run me. She like, no, I'm just saying, don't be Jay. We got this. We working together, and we gonna make it work. And then she walk off. She got little fans. He tried to look mad, but deep down he was happy. He say, ooh, I done told her good. Meanwhile, we see Big Swoleosis and came over there, and he hollering at Mercedes, and he coming with some IDs for her, letting her know what's good. And we see that Big Swole still on parole, and she go ahead and get her IDs, and then we see that she get another bag of cash, and she like, ooh, I should have been your girlfriend. And so they sipping on their little Kool-Aid. She said her Kool-Aid nasty. They had a couple of jokes. She go to use the bathroom, end up going in the room that Mercedes had for her daughter. She like, I know you know this ain't no bathroom. What you think? And she like, well, this is pretty. What's her name? And then they start talking about each other's daughter and stuff. And that's when she realized Mercedes got a daughter and all of that. Then she talk about her daughter, and they kind of bond. Meanwhile, we see Andre, and he back talking to the boss, telling him how things is going and how he gonna make them lease instead of sell. And he convinced dude to do it. And so even though they signed that agreement to sell, he's gonna go ahead and make it a lease anyway instead of that. So we see that Lil Murder is chopping it up at the little basement with his crew, Miss Mississippi there, trying to post on social media, blow up, make a name for them. And so they all taking pictures talking about his murder night, be there. And so, everybody happy. His, manager's happy. And he like, man, what's up, man? What you talking about? He like, hey, look, man, stop coming at me like that. And then we see DJ Never Scared telling him to get on the next song. He trying to chill, and then Miss Mississippi trying to play it off for him because they wondering where he was the other night when he was with Clifford. She tried to say that he was with her, but he wasn't, and everybody is kind of suspicious of their relationship. Meanwhile, we see Andre in the middle of typing up the sale document to lease, he get a little FaceTime call with his wife. She's a doctor we see in Atlanta. They talking. He tell her the good news about his job, and then she kind of like froze. He thought that she was froze for real, and she like, no, I just think that that's messed up, that if you doing that and Godfather don't like it. He like, man, look, I'll talk to you later. Meanwhile, we see Uncle Clifford. He trying to run things at the peak, and we see the people dancing. He end up going to the back to see what's going on with the girls, and lo and behold, Miss Eloise, Lady Eloise, is in the house, and so he talking to her. They all have a couple little quick little jokes back and forth with the girls, and then he say, hey, let's talk. And so she say, hey, let's take this conversation out back. And so next thing you know, they go out back, and she start to talk, and she didn't basically came to her senses about what he said in the nail shop. And she like, man, they talk about all kind of stuff around me like I ain't there, like I'm some type of wallpaper. But you know what? No matter what they do, they gotta follow the law. And here's what they trying to do. They trying to make this into some type of like playland, and they got all type of plans for all type of expansion, and so you need to check into this. Meanwhile, we see that he done went to the jail, and lo and behold, he's done bailed out Miss Patrice Woodbine. And so she tried to walk like she ain't want to talk to him, but he done hemmed her up, talking about, oh no, you owe me, I done bailed you out. And she like, you ain't putting no stacks on my bail. He said, no, I put the club down. What you need? Yeah, I do need something, and we gonna get to that, okay? And so we didn't hear what he needed from her yet, but he needs something. Meanwhile, we see Haley, Autumn Night, and she's on the mound. She end up calling Andre and crack of dawn. He happy to hear from her, and so she like, hey, I'm just, the thought of us and stuff, I want to hold on to that. He wanted to meet her, but she just basically was giving him a goodbye call, and pretty much was all. Meanwhile, we see Big Swole messing around with Big Jelly Roll, and so he getting the ankle monitor from Jelly, and Jelly complaining, and he say, man, shut your fat ass up. And so he leave, and while he leaving, he see a missing persons poster for Haley, aka Autumn Night. And so he like, wait a minute, hold up, what? And so now that got him thinking. Now it's time for some real talk. Now, I like this episode. It was pretty interesting. It's interesting. I'm wondering what in the world kind of scam are they doing with getting all this money? And yeah, they got all these disguises, but ain't no hairstyles and things they can do to throw off who they are and their look. I mean, it's just too unique. But nevertheless, they doing their thing. They got a bag full of Tubman 20s. I wonder what Tubman would think with them Twankies. Also, I feel bad for Mercedes, and I'm wondering, how did that woman get custody of her daughter? How did her baby daddy get that? I'm wondering what's the situation, because I think that this woman is kind of using Mercedes' daughter as leverage to probably hurt her, because Mercedes was cheating with her husband. And what was messed up is she like, I wonder what he would be thinking. And he rolled over in his grave, and then she said, he ain't gonna be doing nothing because I burnt his ass up. Okay? So you need to deal with me. So by her saying it that way, she's definitely hurt and using Terica as a way to hurt Mercedes. And that's unfortunate, because it's not her daughter, and Mercedes is trying, and she should get out of the way of that situation and move on with her life. And then also, I think that Miss Mississippi is playing with fire with this faux relationship. I think it can come back to backfire on her, especially because this dude that she's with is steadily beating her, and she's such a sweetheart, so beautiful, cool, down to earth. I can not imagine what is going through this dude's mind to be beating her. It's obvious that it's some type of sickness. It's no justified reason to be beating her, and I hope that it doesn't get worse for her, and I hope that she find some way to get out of that situation. I'm not saying call, Swole Schwarzenegger, Drake Schwarzenegger Diamond and handle business, but something need to be done. She need to get out of that, call the cops, restraining order, something. And also, I was glad to see Loretta Devine. That's my girl. I think that she's supposed to be blind, but she was walking around and pointing at pictures on the wall and stuff too. So I don't know what's up. And now that we know why the Pink is in trouble, it ain't all Uncle Clifford's fault that she had some type of juke joint at first, and loans and things ran it into the ground. So it's unfortunate, and hopefully they are able to do something about it. And also, it was interesting to find out that Eloise, like Clifford said, was a pretty big booty girl, first graduate of Pank University. And so I'm glad to see that she came to her senses to help out where she came from. She ain't forget her roots. And lastly, them dudes trying to do that land deal pissed me off. Like, you can't hold somebody at gunpoint to sign it and think it'll go through. You forced them to sign that duress. And I'm glad that Andre didn't just go ahead and put that deal through, and he went on ahead and did the lease anyway, because they was full of crap and they didn't deserve that money. Besides, they were getting overpaid, but they did try to underpay or basically not pay at all for the Pink, but want to overpay for the white folks' family and farm. So that's unfortunate, and that's just how business goes sometimes. Maybe Pink could have commanded a better deal if they weren't in debt and about to go up for auction. I think that compromised their situation. And Andre's wife, she doesn't get what he's going through. She thinks that he's an outsider. He thinks that he's from there, and we'll see what happens. And what's up with Swoleosis? What he gonna do looking for Haley? Is he gonna think that maybe something she really is missing and she's up to something, or is he gonna think that's a fake ID that's missing there, because they getting fake IDs all the time? I'm wondering what's up with that. In the end, I'm looking forward to your comments. You let me know what you think. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.